Hello, good afternoon. On behalf of Board BA's Talent Academy, welcome to our Insights and Innovation client webinar. My name is Eileen Bentley, and I am joined today by my colleague from Board BA, Karen Connaughton, and also from Lorraine O'Rahilly, Dr. Peter Robbins, David Mann, and Owen Stack from DCU Business School, who are our partners in this programme. And I'm also delighted to say that we are joined by Cathal Murphy and Jessica Sargent from Bewleys. Cathal is the head of innovation and sustainability at Bewleys, and Jessica is the insights and innovation manager. And they later on are going to share their experiences as a host company and also a participant in the last Insight and Innovation programme. So the purpose of this webinar is to build your knowledge and your understanding of this programme, and hopefully to support you with all of the information and the insight that you need to make a decision about your company's participation in our next programme. We're going to do this over the course of the next 45 minutes or so, through a mix of presentation, some discussion, and also a questions and answers session. So on that, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them into the Q&A section that you can see on your screen. And if you would like to ask this question in person, then just drop that into the message, and we will come to you at the end of this session. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So Karen and Peter, it's over to you.
Great. Thanks so much, Eileen, and welcome everyone. So just to tell you a bit about the Board BA Talent Academy, and this is an initiative that hothouses executive talent to create a pipeline for the Irish food, drink and horticulture industry. The Board BA Talent Academy offers a range of world-leading postgraduate opportunities for over 80 participants, and through corporate and academic partnerships with two leading business schools. So these are UCD Michael Smurfit Graduate Business School and DCU Business School. So the Talent Academy currently offers 4 scholarship MSc programs, each focusing on key food industry areas. The 4 programs that are on offer are the Origin Green Ambassador Programme, the Marketing Fellowship Programme, the International Graduate Programme, and the Insights and Innovation Programme. Each participant receives a fully funded master's combined with real work experience, all while receiving a monthly bursary. Today's webinar, though, we'll focus on the Insights and Innovation Programme in partnership with DCU Business School. The programme will commence in October, and it will be our 4th iteration of the programme. So the Insights and Innovation Programme combines academic learning with an industry placement, allowing participants to undertake hands-on innovation projects, and this will enhance and develop the insights and innovation capability for the industry. So the programme's vision is to train and equip a cohort of managers to act as change agents and become future leaders in the food, drink and horticulture sectors by championing insight-led and sustainable innovation into organisations. So the objective of the programme is to address the skills gap in consumer-focused innovation, strategic marketing, market research, design strategy, sustainability, and product and brand management. But our aim is to train and place highly skilled, talented individuals into industry who will make a lasting impression on client businesses, leaving a legacy for years to come. So the 15-month programme will commence in October, and the participants will undertake a deep, immersive onboarding with DCU Business School, Board BA and the industry. This will include guest speakers, meeting with industry leaders in insights and innovation, field trips, hackathons, and meeting with talent alumni. We'll be also offering placement workshops for clients who will be hosting placements. And from these activities, the participants will be ready to commence their placements. So as mentioned, there will be a 10-month placement. This will then commence in February until October 2025. And the participants will be continuously learning with a hybrid approach from academic learning and practical experience from working in industry on their placement briefs. And then during the semester, participants will also attend 2-day lectures bi-monthly to bring new learnings into the placement experience. So from here, I'm going to just hand you over to Dr. Peter Robbins, who's Professor of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at DCU Business School. Peter has been involved in the programme since its inception, and he's going to talk about some of the core modules and academic elements of the programme. So Peter, I'll let you go from here.
Thanks a million, Carol, and good afternoon, everybody. I suppose I should preface it by saying we know that the food and beverage market is highly competitive. It's a red ocean. We tracked new product launches, including own labels and repositioning and relaunches and retailer promotions in the UK in 2023, and found that there were in the region of 25,000 pieces of new news entering the market every year. Or to put it another way, there are around 500 launches a week in this market. That means it's super or hyper competitive. Relative to some markets, it's low margin. And if the only advantage you have is price, you will definitely not succeed. Our program has been carefully designed to assist firms in the food, beverage, and horticulture market to design, develop, and deliver more successful and sustainable products and services. The focus is on developing an innovation strategy and building innovation propositions that are based on real consumer insights. The modules therefore start with strategy, and then we move through what is referred to as the innovation value chain, which is the development of novel, original, exciting ideas. So therefore you'll find modules about insights, finding them, verifying them, and applying them. Then we get into prototyping and researching ideas, and then ultimately into modules around commercialization and the practical application of innovation concepts that help client companies launch new products and services with the perfect punch to maximize their return on investment. So you can see the 90 credits there on the core modules, and I'll be very happy to take questions about any or all of them later on. But I shall now hand you to Lorraine.
No, you're coming back to me.
To you, Karen, sorry.
Yeah. So just there'll be more questions and opportunities to ask Peter and Lorraine any questions on the academic side. But for now, we'll just look to the different placement routes for the programme. So we do have 2 routes, as you can see on screen. So route 1 is where you can host a participant for placement. So in essence, this means that clients can apply and submit their brief for an Insights and Innovation placement. And if successful, they'll be appointed an Insights and Innovation participant for the 10 months. And then from here, the participant will also be appointed a Board BA mentor to ensure the success of the placement. The participant then should undertake their placement on site with the client company within their relevant teams in the organisation. There is 15 participants on the programme for this route, and the cost of this placement then is €15,000 over the placement period. And the benefits to this placement routes is you have access to high calibre talent. It is an additional resource then to spearhead important insights and innovation projects that you have. You also get access to world-class innovation thinking tools and frameworks. Then if we look at route 2, this is the employee-sponsored route. So from the feedback we received, we piloted this route last year in the programme, and we had a client employee undertake this placement route. So with this, then the employee commits to the 15-month programme and undertakes the academic modules. During the placement period, they'll work on a live company insights and innovation brief. And from this route, then the employee then maintains their salary and benefits. But there is a requirement for them to attend all the modules and onboarding. There's up to 5 positions for this route, and the cost for this route 2 for employees sponsored is €16,000. So the benefits of this route is it upskills your employee in insight-led innovation management to inform your business growth and ambition. Employees then can implement knowledge and skills immediately, and their dissertation can be focused on the company business. And it also then helps build internal client capabilities within existing employees around insights and innovation, and also aids towards staff retention as well. So if we look at kind of typical placement projects, the innovation is a concept that carries different meanings to different people, especially in the food industry, as Peter alluded to. For some, it's around groundbreaking new products, while for others, it might be around enhancing processes or sustainability practices. So for placements, there's no real typical placement brief, but currently we're seeing project needs and areas around category intelligence, leveraging trends, tools for brainstorming, design thinking, and creative workshops, route to market growth opportunities, innovation audits, frameworks, and strategies, strategic reviews, and product category and channel and range reviews as well. So that just might give you some ideas for your own placement briefs if you're looking towards it, but we'd be happy to help you draft any of these out as well. We did complete the assessment centres in May for the upcoming cohort, and we are very excited to have secured 15 talented individuals for the upcoming programme. And these participants have undertaken a very rigorous selection process to gain their position, which included a video application, psychometric testing, 2 competency-based interviews, and a presentation task. So they really have been put through quite a process to get onto the programme. So to give you a little sneak peek of the next intake, all the participants have completed their undergraduate in areas such as international commerce, marketing, innovation, technology, agri and rural enterprise, health and nutrition, food science, nutritional food and business management, climate change, and agriculture and food security. They have previous experience coming from organisations such as Lidl, Chagas, Arista, Neal's Yard Dairy, PepsiCo, Mintel, TikTok. And they were in positions such as brand ambassadors, key account executives and managers, research analysis, and R&D technicians. As you can see, they're a highly experienced and competent cohort, and they'd be an excellent addition for our placement. And we look forward to them joining us in October. So I'm just going to go very briefly through the ask of a host organisation, and we might come back to this in questions and answers. But we just asked for clients to submit a very clear brief with objectives and deliverables to ensure there is a very ambitious innovation agenda on the brief, to incorporate the participants into your organisation. For the best placement experience, they should be on site and appointed a manager within the organisation. And then, of course, providing that feedback loop to us here in Bord Bia to implement any changes if necessary. And we currently have 39 graduates from the programme, and they're all already holding significant roles within the industry and leading organisations. As you can see on screen, we have Gwen Gould, Senior Marketing Manager in Tirlawn, Orla Brady, Global Marketing Manager in Kerry, Maeve O'Malley, Marketing Manager in Achill Island Sea Salt, Joseph Roach, Global Brand and Category Strategy Specialist in Tirlawn. And we're also joined by Jessica Sargent, who's Insights and Innovation Manager in Bewley's. So you can see where the participants come into the industry and where it leads them to. And out of our recent cohort of class 2024, out of 15 participants, they've gone into national and international roles such as brand managers, innovation executives, marketing executives, and commercials, throughout companies such as Irish Distillers, Blabins, West Cork Distillers, Dawn Farm Foods. And 9 of these positions were actually created for the participants as well. So that was a quick whistle-stop tour through the programme. But we are going to have a discussion now with Cathal Murphy and Jessica Sargent, both from Bewley's. So I'm going to hand you over to Eileen to lead this discussion. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Karen. And hopefully there's plenty of information there in your presentation and might have sparked some questions. So just a reminder to everybody watching, just pop them into the Q&A section. But Cathal, if I may, I might come to you first, and thank you again to you for joining us, because we know how meaningful it is for people to see and hear from participants themselves on the programme. So maybe before we begin, if you could give us a brief introduction to Bewley's, and maybe as part of that, the role that innovation has played over your 180-year history.
Yeah, thanks a million, and absolutely my pleasure to be here. I'm not a graduate of this course, but I am a graduate of a Borbia marketing course as well. So I understand the benefit and of Borbia when it comes to driving on innovation and marketing within the agri-food industry in Ireland. So for me, it's been a big part of my career. My current role here is head of sustainability and innovation in Bewley's. I suppose to give an overview of our business, we're first and foremost a coffee roaster and tea blender. So that's the core of our business. And what we've done over time is kind of built a complete hot beverage solution around that. So that means to be that provider to businesses, we've been involved in equipment, servicing, training, marketing support, and then kind of in terms of quality standards out in the market, looking at mystery shopping and quality auditing from time to time with our suppliers. So that, I suppose, we're a full hot beverage solution provider at this point in time. So I guess what's important to note about Bewley's is, I suppose, our sourcing policies when it comes to tea and coffee. So that's always been incredibly important for us. We're fully fair trade when it comes to all of our coffees, and everything is traceable back to source. And we hold these relationships. We hold these relationships kind of over time. So I mean, we have suppliers now we've been working with for 20 years, which is kind of unheard of in the industry as well. So that's something we're particularly proud of. I suppose historically, innovation's always been a big part of our business. When we started 180 years ago, Ernest Bewley disrupted the traditional tea supply routes from India and imported tea to Ireland, and then had to figure out a way to sell it. So I mean that right at our very core, we were kind of innovative and disruptive. And then I suppose over time, it's always been about putting the customer first. I know when the Bewleys opened their cafes, they were looking to kind of make a lot of cakes and buns, and they decided to import Jersey cows because they wanted that type of quality of cream going into their products as well. So it's always been about putting the consumer first, and then understanding how best to serve them. And yeah, innovation, I suppose it wasn't called innovation then, but like innovation and kind of tailoring to kind of where the customer requirements are was always very important to the business.
That's great. And I think anybody who comes and participates on this program will hear a lot about putting the consumer at the heart of innovation. Can you maybe share with us how you and your team spot new ideas and stay on top of those consumer insights at Bewley's?
I suppose the first place that we start is kind of with the market data. So to that end, we buy in some industry reports, but I'd have to mention Borbia here, very helpful when it comes to a lot of the market data, and typically for our market at least, with our 4,500 customers in Ireland, the Technomics report is always a very important one for us to understand the market sizing and the dynamics out there. So that's always very important. And then there's kind of the more industry standard insights then around EPOS data and just understanding what's running through the tills when it comes to grocery as well. So that's one place we look. I suppose when it comes to coffee, it's all about waves of what's going on. So we look to other markets. Typically it starts in the Far East and goes to the States and kind of comes back through Europe, and it's where you are on that journey. So To that end, the Allegro reports, coffee reports are very important for us as a business in terms of our decision making. I suppose the other bit is formalizing feedback from our sales team as well. Capturing what's going on in the market, feeding back in terms of kind of competitor analysis, seeing what's going on in the market. All of these things are very important to us as well. Trade shows, and so either we'll go with other people, or we'll go out on our own. Trade shows are very important for us every year when it comes to seeing what's out there, seeing what's new. Is this something that could fit in our business? Typically, you'll see it, and it'll be 2 years before it'll hit the market as well. So we understand the value of kind of trade shows there as well. I think I've captured everything in that, but those are typically where we look to when it comes to market insights.
Very good. And we often hear from client companies in Bord Bia that innovation is not without its challenges, shall we say. So could you share what has maybe been the most challenging aspect of innovation for Bewley's, and kind of what steps have you taken to address or overcome some of those challenges?
Yeah, I suppose I've been in the role for a while now, and we've tried to come at it from a couple of different perspectives, where we've involved few people and then we've involved a lot of people, and there's a balance somewhere in the middle. I think if you have a particularly good idea, people can run away with it before you're quite there. So I suppose it's just managing a pipeline, bringing products through the ideation funnel as much as you can to a point at which people need to input, and that's the kind of threshold for kind of progressing something in the business. So the idea might be something you brought home today from the trade show you saw at the weekend, but that needs to be fleshed out, and you need to understand how that works in your business. So these all have been learning pieces for us as well. One of the things that we found is that if you have a innovation function in your business, everything becomes, well, surely that's innovation. And whereas I think what we're constantly reminding people is, like, there's an onus on everyone in the business to look at kind of continuous improvements in your own departments and how you can improve things. They're not all it's not all innovation. So I suppose fostering that continuous improvement across the business, and kind of talking when ideas are coming around, and just go, well, you could bring that to me and I could help you with it, or that's something you could really drive on in your own department without any pushback. Whereas if we took that on as an innovation project, you become almost my client in the business to do something that you're best positioned to do. So it's I suppose that those are the big learnings for us. I guess it's timing is the big thing in terms of what we've learned here as well. How much can we flesh out ideas? How far out do we talk about new ideas? And then just, I suppose, importantly, at the right time, bringing people on the journey with you.
Yeah, that sounds like some wisdom and advice, I'm sure, as well, for everybody. If I can ask you to just maybe cast your mind back a couple of years to when you were hearing about this program, maybe for the first time, and thinking about whether or not to host a participant. Take us through your thought process. Like, was there a particular catalyst for that, or why did you decide to get involved when you did?
Well, I mean, there was a lot. I suppose it's the process, the idea of the process, bringing kind of that outside design thinking, and the various kind of tenets of the course, bringing some of that innovation thinking into the business is kind of what was important. As a business that has been around for 180 years, you'll always find a way to get it done. But at the same time, kind of bringing in more design thinking, bringing in a little bit more process. That's kind of what attracted us to getting involved, and bringing a fellow on board into the business, and I think it's been really positive. Sometimes it's a fresh voice, fresh perspective, and I suppose that's what attracted it to us in the first place. And I think Jessica was fantastic when she came in terms of the projects we were looking at. She kind of brought rigor and some of that thinking and process to us. Sorry, I'm in the dark here.
Need to move around.
Again, I think that was a lighting project. That wasn't an innovation project. It was a continuous improvement and sustainability project. I think in terms of the projects we've done, what Jessica has done is kind of maybe left behind a blueprint of how it gets done for the next time, which is really helpful because having that culture of innovation and bringing in process, that's always been very important for us, and I think that's definitely something she's put in place.
Okay, great. So, people looking on, those are the kind of hopefully impacts that they can anticipate with the program process, fresh thinking, design thinking, and a new voice. That they're the areas. So maybe before I just ask Jessica some questions about her experience on the program, would you have any words of advice for anybody who is thinking about participating on the program?
I think if you're thinking about it, you should be doing it, because there's no part of your business that doesn't need continuous improvement and encouragement to kind of keep pushing on. Again, that could be continuously improvement. So like if even bringing an innovation function meant that everyone had to look at their own areas and drive on and see how they could do things better, and maybe talk about, well, what's the best way to bring it on, as well as an innovation pipeline in terms of product market insights, mapping out what it is you do. I think a lot of innovation, there's some big innovation sometimes that happens, but if you take kind of where we've innovated typically over the year, our core business hasn't really changed in that we're coffee roasters and tea blenders, but like everything around that churns all the time. So whether that's equipment and everything from cup technology to milks, to syrups, to everything else. So everything around our core business changes, and I think that's where a lot of our innovation sits, around our core. I know there are businesses out there who like to who look to kind of churn on the core as well, but I think innovation around the core can be really powerful as well, and kind of easy to layer into your business. So if you're thinking about it, I think it's just a new perspective at the very least is of value to your business.
Brilliant. Cathal, thanks very much for the moment. Jessica, if I can bring you in here, that maybe you'd be able to just paint a picture for everybody watching or listening around just the type of work and type of projects that you undertook on your placement with Bewley's. Where do you think you delivered the impact?
Great, thanks, Eileen. Great to be here this afternoon. So yeah, as a graduate of the program, when I think back to last January when I started my placement in Bewley's, Bewley's are kind of in the process of innovating the traditional Irish brand of Bewley's. So one of my jobs that I was tasked with was how to kind of activate this in market. So I suppose through insights gathered within the business, it was noticed that the convenience and forecourt channels were kind of on the rise. So one of the projects I worked on was kind of how do we kind of unlock value and growth there, and kind of make us a little bit more relevant, I suppose, because that area is becoming increasingly competitive. So looking at our kind of automatic self-serve coffee counters in convenience stores, how do we make this look more contemporary? What are the insights? So say bringing plant-based offerings to that, or ice drinks, as kind of Gen Z are really driving the coffee agenda. So that was kind of one area I looked at. I also looked at, I suppose, Bewley's were making their packaging recyclable. So another big project I worked on with Cathal was how do we kind of design this also to make it more kind of contemporary and eye-catching on the shelf. And then the third area that, there was a number of projects I worked on, but the third one was a really interesting one that myself and Cathal throughout the year have been looking at a new product development idea for Bewley's. And I suppose after about 6 months in the business, when I kind of began to understand it a bit better, I decided to do my thesis on that. So that was another kind of great project to kind of be able to get stuck into. And I think, yeah, having somebody on the team that kind of had the space to do that thinking was great for Cathal too. So
Brilliant. Well, that's certainly sounds very varied from, the insights generation, the pack design, and then kind of I guess, the application of the academic thinking to the placement as well. Super. So, like thinking of that academic side, maybe then, there's a lot of upfront learning in terms of skills, design thinking, frameworks. Were you able to kind of bring those in and apply those during your placement? And have you any examples of how you did that?
yeah, definitely. So I suppose the first one maybe is that what Cathal mentioned a moment ago, that kind of process bit. So Bewley's had an innovation strategy in place. One of the projects I worked on was, I did the module with Peter Robbins, who gave the intro there earlier, on innovation strategy itself. So I looked at how do we kind of make this a little bit more accessible for the team, because it was quite clunky, the project, the strategy that had been there from a few years back. Also, how do we make it more kind of accessible across different departments? So how do we kind of bring this online? So that was a really interesting project. That again, and it was great to kind of be able to kind of champion moving Bewley's to some digital processes too.
Great, and it certainly sounds like, in terms of the role and getting the most from the role, like that kind of cross functionality and working kind of within your team, but then outwards into the business is the way forward.
Definitely.
Thanks, Jessica. I'm going to move on maybe to you, Peter, if I can. Just thinking about the participants' learnings, how do they then align, as they're going through their academic modules to what they're focusing on as part of their placement with the client company?
Well, this cohort that's coming in, I think, will be our fourth cohort. We've learned a lot now about the rhythm of the work that they'll be doing. In general, some of the companies are very well established with very highly organized innovation architecture, but others are building it, and they begin with thinking about what is their innovation ambition, what are their targets in terms of revenue generation and new business and market share and categories, or the unlocking of need states and stuff like that. And then the process of the generation of original ideas. So we have design thinking early on. We also have exposure for the candidates to innovation centers and hubs and labs, and they get to hear the language that they use and how the metrics are different for those parts of the organization from the main company, because the mission is different. It's the modules are orchestrated and timed across the rhythm of the work, the generation of ideas, then the sifting, ranking, prioritizing, the testing, the prototyping, and then the figuring out of the commercial practicalities of the stuff. So we start with innovation management, we move and strategy, and make sure that those things are aligned, and then we move into frameworks and techniques and skills and ways of working in terms of generating ideas and sense checking them and moving them into MVPs, and then deciding, getting to a no-go decisions about their launch or their piloting or their pivoting, etc. So the modules have been developed that way. And then, maybe the final thing is a capstone project, which, as Jessica mentioned, might be the finale or the final bit of thinking, and that has to go behind an investment possibility for the organization.
Yeah.
In other ones, it's where people have been, maybe there are loads of these discussions that happen with the senior management team for ages without a lot of resolution, like what are we doing about plant-based alternatives or something like that, or how can we use innovation in our net zero transition plan or something like that. Those are the sort of things that then come through as capstone dissertations. They ideally use all of the skills in terms of strategy and frameworks and tools, the candidates at that point have access to interdisciplinary faculty across DCU. So loads of them are talking to people in computer studies or sustainability or climate change. And then they have access to all of your people. So they're talking to people who have experts in the industry, experts across various markets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And experts in organizational know-how and stuff like that. Yeah. So the capstone dissertations are great. And then we did have a kind of a super reveal of those, a discussion of those in Bord Bia about the insights they derived from doing those things and the insights they were able to leverage to advantage the company. Probably worth saying that independent research has suggested that the candidates between them generated about 7.6 million of potential future revenue. Whether that will be realized or not is yet to be proven, but at the same time, the companies believed that the candidates had delivered that kind of value.
Yeah, and that's a huge number. And, it immediately shows the benefit, as Colin was saying, for anybody who's even thinking about this, the potential that it can unlock. Thank you, Peter. Lorraine, I might come to you just with a couple of questions that could be front of mind for some of the clients watching this. What makes a successful placement or sponsorship of an employee?
Thanks, Eileen, and lovely to be here. Well, if you think of the host companies and taking on a participant, we're trying to create that spark between the host companies and the participant that enables that successful placement. So the client companies, obviously, Bord Bia client companies send in an application, and both you and I, we look at those and see what they're looking for. And we clearly know too on our side the candidates, their profiles, their backgrounds, and we're trying to make that match. On the host company side, we're definitely looking for evidence of strategy, be that export, marketing, innovation, business strategy. We're looking for kind of team stability, organization stability. Otherwise, it can be hard for candidates if they're going into companies and there's a lot of things in flux. We're certainly looking for that innovation ambition. And ultimately, we're looking to see, is there ambition in the company to create an insight and innovation role? Very practically, that the candidate is placed with somebody with good management skills in a team environment, in an office-based stroke hybrid environment. As long as they can also, have the opportunity to be in the office, it makes a huge difference. That the candidate has weekly meetings, quarterly reviews, and that they meet and review those things with the program manager like myself. And then on the candidate side, they're the other side that, that makes this successful, that they're open to new challenges, that they're resilient, that they'll act on feedback, and also that they're able to balance competing demands, both on the academic side and in the placement side. If you sponsor an employee, really an important part there is that you create the space and time for the employee to participate fully in the program. So that they're really the main things.
Yeah, great. So, the message there very much is around team and being part of a team. This isn't like a siloed role. It's like really adding value kind of within and across the organization. And
Eileen, it's actually worth saying that the most successful placements are the companies who actually almost view the candidates when they take in the placement candidates as future employees, and they embed them in the company. So they treat them like an employee as opposed to somebody on a graduate program or an internship or something like that. It's a different mindset, and those students certainly benefit hugely from that mindset.
So would you have any advice or words of wisdom for companies who are going to take a placement on the program? How do they prepare to absolutely make sure that they're hitting the ground running themselves, but also preparing background for the participant?
Starts with the brief that comes into you. and that really is the start process. This year we're introducing an innovation workshop that Peter Robbins there will be leading, and we're inviting the manager and others within the organization to come and be part of that innovation workshop, where we can set out everything and look at those objectives from the get-go. We certainly, it's really important defining those objectives. And early in the process, after that innovation workshop, we also set up meetings with the manager and the team the candidate will be with. The Board BA sector managers come to that too, and there's a Board BA mentor. And they're really, really important in being part of that early process. And as I say, during the placement itself, then it really is ensuring that the candidates meet with their managers all of the time, that there's quarterly reviews on the projects, and that we track the projects against progress. And all the time, we're looking to see that it's aligned with the learnings. So there's optimization of the learnings and the client needs.
Brilliant. I mean, because Karen already touched in her content around the benefits for the clients or the host companies, but like that's another major one there that you just shared, Lorraine, in terms of the benefit of the workshops, the one-to-one support in terms of developing that innovation brief, but also then that knowledge and skills transfer into the wider company and team, so that all of that isn't only and exclusively residing with the placement. So I think that's an important takeaway for everybody.
May I just say that, as you so rightly say there, one of the bits of feedback that we got from the research was, would it be possible for us to expand the knowledge transfer a little bit? It's all very well to have one agent in the company that's briefed with the latest thinking and it can activate stuff. But some of the companies said, we'd love to take the whole group along with us. And that's why we're giving them the opportunity to bring the whole team in, to socialize what are going to be the ways of working, and to get everybody on board. And as you say, to extend the learnings just out beyond just the individual candidate.
Yeah. No, that's a really good build. So we're almost out of time. David, I just wanted to ask you, has anything come in on the Q&A that
No, nothing has come in just yet.
Nothing has come in just yet. Okay, well, I guess then at that point we can say if anybody subsequent to this webinar does have questions for any one of us on the team, don't hesitate to reach out and send them in. Karen, yes. If I could come back to you to remind us of what these next steps and the timings of the programme are before we close out.
Yeah, of course. Well, firstly, just before I go to the next steps, I just like to thank Cathal and Jessica for their input, along with the team from DCU as well. But yeah, so for the next steps is the applications are closing on Friday the 13th of September. So if you are interested in either the two placement routes, via the link here, which we'll circulate, you can go in there and submit your placement brief for either route 1 or route 2. Clients can also apply for both routes at one time as well. So if you are interested and have taken some inspiration from today's webinar, I would urge you to apply. It's a fantastic opportunity for both the participants and for clients and the placements. So yeah, that's the next steps. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them at any stage. Our contact details are at the end of the presentation as well.
Great. Karen, thank you very much. Thank you, Peter, Lorraine, and also to Cathal and Jessica for joining us today. And we look forward to hearing from many of you over the coming couple of weeks. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.